I couldn't tell you why. I just changed from one day to the next. I grew tired of everything. So I decided to express my frustrations. You know what the thing about a revolution is? You don't plan them. I didn't, at least. There just happened to be a lot of people that agreed with me. I happened to be the voice that spoke. They called me El Jefe.
See, being a chief takes precision, proper planning, understanding the landscape, touching the people, and knowing when to shoot. El Mundo. Ask about it.
This is my testimony about Shawn I've been tattooing for about 2.5 years now. I've done well over 3,000 tattoos. I work from Ohio to New York City, and wherever else somebody calls me to come get some ink from. But I haven't always been dark side graphics, I haven't always been a tattoo artist. I've always been an artist because that's what God blessed me with as a talent. But God also blessed me to be a tattoo artist also. I'm a true believer of that. I believe that I would be doing none of this without God. Well, how all of this became to be anything, 2.5 years, or let's rewind, maybe 3 years before this, I was just like every other dude basically, no job, out in the streets, hustling, selling drugs, living with women, acting like I was getting money, fronting like I was getting money, acting like I had everything figured out, but really I didn't have anything figured out. And I was real thankful, at the time, because I was going through some things, and my sister, Aisha Bailey, she had an apartment and she just moved out, and she let me come stay there. I was basically out in the streets, homeless, but I was getting money. I was doing what I was doing, but enough money to survive. And so I'm living in Parma, and I get a call from my child's mother one day saying that, she was in a shelter, she had lost her house and everything, and, and I'm sitting here in Parma in this nice apartment. So I get up and go and get my daughter. I had maybe $300 to my name. I bring my daughter back, little Kiara Cooper. A lot of y'all that met her, she's a little beautiful little thing. But I bring her back. She had about 8 diapers, little clothes and stuff like that. Not too much of nothing. Not for a 1-year-old, So I bring her back, and it's just me and her. And I gotta figure it out, basically. I was through selling drugs. I was through being in the streets. I was at the point in my life where it was like, none of this stuff is profitable. I'm just out here. I'm in the way. I need to figure it out. So she went to sleep. The first night she was there, she went to sleep. And I had a lot on my mind because I didn't know when my daughter was going back to her mom. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know any of that. And so I laid down with her and prayed. And I asked God, I said, God, please, I need something else to do with my life. I need something else to do. Because I don't know when I'm going to have to give my daughter back to her mom. Now, her mom isn't on drugs or anything like that. She's actually a great mother, but, everybody makes their mistakes and falls off sometimes. And so, the next morning, I got up, cut on my computer, went straight to the internet like most people do. I'm like, I got to check my Facebook. But as soon as I cut my computer on, go on the internet, a pop-up comes up. Now I have pop-up blocker and everything on my computer. And it pops up and it says, tattoo kit, $69.99. So I buy the tattoo kit. I had like $150. It cost me $100 to get the stuff. And it came with like a little tattoo gun, a bottle of black ink, and like 5 different colors, And so while I'm sitting there with the tattoo stuff, I don't even know how to put any of this stuff together. I've never tattooed in my life, you know what I'm saying, or anything. My maintenance man, he comes the next day and he knocks on the door and he fixes the sink. And he's like, hey, do you do tattoos? And I'm like, no, but I want to learn. He's like, well, he tells me he used to do tattoos and he can show me how to put the stuff together. So he basically sits down with me and puts everything together for me. And I don't still know what I'm doing with any of this stuff, you know, like I don't know what goes where, how to do it, how far a needle is supposed to be out, anything. So the next day I get up and me and Kira, we go on a little adventure. I get some of my drawings together and I'm walking around, you know, local tattoo shops in Cleveland and everything. And if a lot of you guys know, you know, most tattoo artists are assholes, you know, and I'm going to put it out there just like that. A lot of y'all is assholes, you know, because I don't know whether you guys were nerds in high school or you were bullied or whatever because you could draw, but I come from a different cut, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of rappers say, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not a rapper, this and that, you know. I just was blessed to be able to draw. I'm a different cut, so I don't carry myself like that or be intimidated by a lot of the shit that they do. But that's beyond the point. So I went to a lot of shops, showed them my drawings, which were good drawings, you know, but I mean, they were telling me, oh, I need $2,500, $5,000, you know what I'm saying, to be an apprentice, basically to sit up under you for a year and watch you tattoo, set up your stuff, clean up after you, do all the bullshit that they don't want to do, you know, they want you to do it if you want to get your license and learn how to tattoo. Well, I wasn't with none of that shit, you know, like even back when I used to hustle, I never let nobody front me anything. Because I've always paid my own way and got what I had to get by myself. So I went home with that knowledge in my hand, knowing that, look, I'm not about to do any of that stuff that they're talking about doing. And I had like 50 bucks to my name, so I bought some loud. Got my daughter, you know, we had enough to last maybe a week at this point. But I had a place to stay thanks to my sister. So therefore, when my daughter went to sleep, I think I smoked like 3 blunts of loud, just to the face, back to back. I was stressed, heavy, you know. So the whole time while I'm sitting there, I get to thinking like, you know, how am I gonna learn to use this stuff that I just bought, you know? So I hook my computer up to the TV, and I sit there and I watch 15 hours on YouTube on how to tattoo, non-stop, just straight. Everything that I could possibly learn from anybody, that's where I got my knowledge of the tattoo game from YouTube, from watching people who are major in the game, you know what I'm saying, been doing this for 15, 20 years, and the things that they were telling me to do, I basically just watched that and just made mental notes of it. So the next day I'm trying to figure out like, you know, well, what am I going to do? So I pack up my stuff, take my daughter out to Kent. I have a good friend out there named Veronica Woods. I set up shop at her house. And I just basically put on Facebook like, hey, I'm out in Kent, I'm doing tattoos, you know what I'm saying, $10 for names, you know. I did 30 names that first day with no practice, not knowing what I was doing, no carbon paper, no nothing, just wrote out 30 names, you know. Made 300 bucks real quick. Got my daughter everything that she needed, came back home to Cleveland the next day, and I had this girl come through, which was a good friend of me and my dudes. She comes through and she's like, oh, well, yeah, you can tattoo me, you know, I want a Smurfette. And she wanted a Smurfette about this big, but the girl was about this big. So I didn't know how to carbon paper nothing or anything. I just basically sat down and just drew Smurfette on her, you know, as good as I could. Wiped it off a bunch of times because I was, you know, real nervous, but, you know, I didn't let my nervousness, you know, make her feel nervous. But I finally got something on her that she liked, and it was like this big, you know, it was humongous. So I'm tattooing it. I don't know what the hell I'm doing basically, but I know I'm not going too deep. I know everything that I'm doing feels right, and she's loving it. Colored the thing, whole thing in, you know, and it's a picture. I'm going to put the picture in with this testimony. 9 hours later, I got finished with that tattoo. And I sat back and thought like, God, you know, how can I get my name out here? How can I start making money doing this? So I sat back and started looking at my laptop. And I was like, you know what? I have a lot of friends on Facebook. I'm going to change my Facebook social page from my name to Darkside Graphics, because I used to do graphic design when I was out in Buffalo. And like I said, I graduated from college for graphic design. So I basically knew how to do graphic design. I know Photoshop, I know video editing, I know all of that stuff. And once I did that, I just started posting up tattoos. You know what I'm saying? Like just doing tats every day. And start doing stuff. You know, I go out of town to go see my daughter, take my tattoo stuff with me. I do tats out there. People will come, you know. I just kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it, you know. Just like how I used to sell drugs. Like I just kept doing it. You know, I never ran low. I always had it. You know, when somebody wanted it, wherever they were at, I was going to get that money. You know, so it was like doing the tattoo thing just came natural to me, because it was like I'm selling drugs. It's just that I'm selling needles and stuff now and artwork. And just got better and better and better and better. You know, and that's how I feel. Like the sky's the limit to this. Like there's no getting worse unless you just fall all the way off and you stop caring about doing your work and everything. You know what I'm saying? It's a few of you guys out there that's, you know, doing a lot of that right now. But I ain't tripping, because I'm gonna keep trying my best. That's why I lock myself up in my house and I don't do nothing but stay here and work and work and work. If I ain't at the mall going out to eat, I'm at home working. I don't got time for all of that. But I've not always been this dude, the tattoo artist, you know, not Darkside Graphics or anything. It was a point in time when I was a person that a lot of you people wouldn't want to meet. Like I've done 12 years in prison, you know. I've been in Belmont, Lucasville, Allen, Mansfield, Lake Erie. Like I said, this is a testimony, so I want you to know from how I got here and where I came from. So hopefully it'll give you a different view to see what type of person you're dealing with, instead of thinking that, hey, this guy is just a tattoo artist, you know. I've lived a hell of a life. You know, I was taken away from my mother when I was 5 years old. That was a real bad situation, you know. Been in foster homes, group homes, juvenile. You know, I'm 36 years old. I did 6 years in TICO. TICO is maximum security juvenile. We call it gladiator school. From there, went to Belmont. From Belmont to Lucasville. Sat in a hole in Lucasville, which is maximum security prison, for a year and a half in a one-man cell. Made it through there, a year and a half sitting in a one-man hole in a cell where you come out an hour a week to another one-man cage, and you're put in the hole where you're showering in shackles and handcuffs, you know. Made it through that, because I sat in there and I figured it out, and I took a good look at my life and the man that I was and the man that I want to be. Got out, you know, but I kept messing up. I kept going back. I was on parole. Finally beat the parole authority, took him to court, and was on parole from 96 to 2008. Finally took me off parole, you know. And this whole time wasn't no tattooing going on. I'm talking about just straight street thugs, you know, running back and forth to Cleveland, in and out of town, you know, baby mama drama, you know, all of that. Until God blessed me to do what I'm doing now, to be a tattoo artist. You know what I'm saying? I love my job. I love my life. I love my clients. I love the progress that I'm making. I love the people that I meet on a day-to-day basis. It's a lot, you know what I'm saying? I love just the networking of it. I love that when somebody leaves my spot and they get a tattoo from me, the satisfaction that they feel, how great that they feel. And if I could take back any of those years of when I used to be in the streets and I used to be a different person, I wouldn't. Because like I said, I'm a true believer that God, He knows where our life is going. We all have free will. You know, He knows exactly what's going on in your life at all times. But it's up to you to change for whatever reason you want to change. You know, I basically changed because I didn't want my daughters or my kids to grow up and thinking that, like, hey, my daddy didn't care. He thought that selling drugs and running the streets and being with all these different women is better than being with your kids, you know what I'm saying? Or the fulfillment, you know, it's a fulfillment that I get from being with my daughter Kiera that is like none other, you know. I wish that I could be a part of my other kids' life like that, but, you know, we have different problems. Everybody has some problems, but, you know, it is what it is, and But I feel like as long as I keep doing what I'm doing, I'll be able to put my kids in a better position one day, you know, because I'm not going to stop. This is not it. You guys have not even seen the best. You have not even seen everything that I got planned. You know, keep a lot of tricks up my sleeve. Wear a lot of different hats. And the sky's the limit, you know. This is just the beginning. This is 2.5 years in. Wait till I find a mentor, somebody that wants to take me and show me the way to do different things and different stuff like that, you know. So right now, I'm just gonna keep on grinding and doing what I gotta do, you know, just for me and mine, and to keep my clients happy. I thank y'all. I love all of y'all from the bottom of my heart, man. It's because of all of y'all that I'm able to do what I do, that I'm able to go take my kids shopping, that I'm able to feed myself. 'Cause I don't work no job. I don't clock in for nobody, you know. I've had one opportunity to actually be like around other artists, you know. I worked for Beyond the Needle for about a couple months, you know, ended up going to jail, and my dude Caveman really looked out for me, man. So I want to say shout out to Caveman. I don't know how y'all feel about me, but you know I left there because I had different issues going on once I got out of jail. But Caveman looked out for me the whole time I was in jail. So on this testimony, I'm going to give a shout out to that dude, because that dude looked out for me. That's a real live dude. He's like the only black tattoo artist in Akron, other than myself, that I really, really respect, that puts down great work all the time. He even knows, because I'll call him when I'm out of town and tell him, hey dog, I got people that want to get tatted. What's up? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I put them together because he looked out for me, man. You know, Brandon, you know, they held me down while I was in there. You know what I'm saying? They gave me that real, you can come and work at the shop and show love to me, you know, when I didn't really want to work for no shop. You know, I got hired in a skeleton key down here, but I wasn't trying to work with them dudes. You know, they sounded crazy. I ain't about to, I'm a boss. I've always been a boss. I ain't never been nobody's employee. So I'm not good with working with people. You know, I put that out there for anybody. I'm always ran my own shit. I've always been about my own business. I'm not nobody's employee, except for the client that's sitting in my chair at that time. That's the only time I'm working for somebody. Other than that, I don't need to be working for nobody. So I'll never work for nobody's shop. I'm trying to open my own shit. I'm trying to be my own boss. You know, I don't really want this testimony to come off as arrogant or cocky, you know what I'm saying, because I'm not. Like I said, I'm real humble in what I'm doing right now, especially humble for the people that's giving me the opportunity to give them some nice artwork. You know, real thankful and humble to my clients, you know what I'm saying. Like, other than that, everything else is history, you know what I'm saying.
This morning I woke up, doing from another dream. I sat up alone in my palace, drenched in cold sweat. My bloodshot eyes were exposed by the sun rays. And being that I was alone, I was only exposed to myself. The silence was echoing in my head as I stepped out over the city. Chico, there was a time when nobody believed in me. I always knew to look above it, and now I'm looking above them. And what do they know about the struggle, the hustle, and what do they know about adversity anyways? Yeah, I come from the slums, but so what? I could repeat it to you 100 times if I want. I could write it in a letter, but nothing will let you know I'm hippie more than my cold silence.
I can't help that we're the greatest. It's what they put us here for. And like that,
Es el mundo.
we gone.